Good morning, fellow listeners. I hope it is morning. I hope you have your whole day ahead of you to make it an amazing day, to make it one of your best days. Because, our days are numbered, and what you do today could make a difference for the rest of your life. Maybe you're going to try bravery today. That would be my wish. So hang in there with me on this episode. And let's talk about bravery. Bravery to me is a noble word. I have to think of movies. There, the characters always seem to go out on a limb and do the things that we, in our own lives, cannot get ourselves to do. And maybe that's why we like movies so much. We see a better reality than our own. Our dreams that we're only dreaming, they're playing out in the movies. The good people win. The right words are spoken at the right time. And the characters learn the lessons they need to learn in order to make a turn for the better and succeed. It even seems that only in the movies are men still courageous enough to approach a woman on a street. But I'm sidetracking, and it's probably just my biased opinion. Anyway, maybe that's why I link the term bravery with something magical, almost unrealistic. Because someone telling me I'm brave always seems so exaggerated. I don't know about you. That's how I have always felt. Yet I've started to realize that bravery is more of an everyday word and act than I always thought. Once I started to pay more attention, I realized that every day presents opportunities to be brave. And bravery is very individual. What requires bravery on my part may be something you don't even have to think about. Bravery is required for the major things in life just as much as it is for the small things. Yesterday, we talked about hiding. Coming out of hiding is a huge act of bravery. Leaving a relationship or a job, seeking out help and guidance, approaching people to clear up past issues. There are huge undertakings that are not taken care of in one day. So bravery really shows in the small daily actions that you do that eventually lead to a major change. And that is what I want to make today's episode about. I want to help you to be brave. I don't know your situation. I don't know your fears, your worries, or the things you might be afraid to face. But I do know we all have them. Being brave is the addressing of those fears. When you hear phrases such as overcoming obstacles and leap of faith, climbing up the hill, empowering yourself, what these really say is, be brave. I like this quote from Ray Smith. Struggle isn't fun, but it's an opportunity to be brave. So how can you be brave? The key to being brave, to me, lies in exactly this. Bravery is best practiced on a daily basis by taking small steps. I'll give you an example from my life. You see, my big challenge is that I wish I could just be a little bit nicer to people. Not just once in a while when I'm in a good mood, but on a consistent basis. I'm often fearful of people, and that causes me to shut down. I know this of myself. Approaching strangers is stressful for me. I don't like doing it. So, what do I need to do? Well, I will not turn into a kind person by telling myself to be kind. Just be kind. Same if you're afraid. Don't be scared. We all know these little reminders don't do much. You see, you don't get kinder, but you get braver. You don't get less afraid, but you get braver. You don't change the situation, but you change the person. You build your capacity, you develop your inner strength, and you work on your resourcefulness. Remember, we're tackling fears here. This is not easy stuff. These are the kind of things we have dug away many, many years ago. We talked about them in yesterday's episode. It's the stuff that we often ask professionals to help us out with. We can try to be brave on our own. Every change involves action. Telling yourself you will change is not an action. Talking courage or kindness into yourself will not make you fearless or kind. You actually have to do something about it. Another quote by Emma Donoghue from her book Room, which, by the way, is an amazing book. Read it a few years ago. Scared is what you're feeling. Brave is what you're doing. And the book actually is all about bravery. So what can you do to be braver? I say, start with a plan. You need a strategy, because a strategy will involve steps, and steps involve action. It is similar to how you get your goals accomplished. You start with your objective. So where in your life is bravery needed? Well, you now know my example. Let's expand on it a little further. For me, to be kind requires bravery. But until I'm in the situation where kindness is required, I often don't realize it. And by then, it's almost too late. Because my default reaction is usually more on the efficient side than on the kind side. And efficiency, unfortunately, doesn't always include kindness. Usually, it just includes a ton of impatience. So here's an easy way you can lay out your plan. Focus on 2 elements. 1, the actions required for you to get braver. And 2, the consequences of not fixing the issue. And the second part is very important. Think through it carefully. What will your life be like a few years from now if you don't make any changes? The job you hate now, imagine yourself in this job in 5 years. And write down how you think it will affect you. Your fear of speaking in front of audiences? How will not addressing it affect your professional future? Will it hold you back from becoming someone you really want to be? For me, not being nice to people is not in line with my mission. Imagine my podcast taking off and people that I don't know recognize me in the street. And they observe me, being impatient and unkind to the barista at my coffee shop for taking too long with my coffee. This would not reflect positively on me, and it's not even who I want to be. The consequences of not being brave may be what you want to start with. Because the bleak outlook into your future will propel you to take actions, the right actions today. And they will give you ideas on what it is that you need to do. I need to think about my days and the encounters where I'm not kind. For example, trigger points for me are when I face unexpected delays. It's hard to be kind when you're annoyed and hurried. So I need to write down clear and concise things I will do when I encounter these circumstances. And then, when I practice them long enough, they eventually will override my current default reactions to a much kinder one. So you could divide a sheet of paper into 2 parts. You could call them heaven and hell, because you'll be closer to heaven when you become braver. And there you write down the things that you need to do. And then on the other side, you could write down what will land you in hell, the consequences of not being brave. From where you are now, things may not look so bad. Yeah, maybe the relationship or the job you're in may not be the best at the moment. But what will it be in a few years if you don't change anything now? Where will you be? I really like this quote from Mark Twain. It's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog. We often blow up the situations that we're facing. In our mind, we make them huge and insurmountable. And the more we expand those proportions on the outside, the more we shrink on the inside. We get scared more and more, and we talk ourselves out of doing anything. If instead we focus less on the obstacle and more on summoning our inner strength and bravery, building ourselves up and preparing for the fight, then I believe bravery is more accessible and it won't appear like such a huge task. So maybe you try bravery today with whatever situation you're facing. And remember, just take one small step and another one tomorrow. That's, in my opinion, how you become brave. Much love.